Hello, good day. My name is Chris Joku. Today we'll be looking at exploratory data analysis for beginners. Let me type it here. Exploratory data analysis. So otherwise known as EDA. Okay, exploratory data analysis is more like the first step of any data analysis project. What does it stand for? To explore means for you to look at your data very well. Look at it holistically. By so doing, you identify a whole lot. You identify missing values. You also identify the distribution of the data. Now look at the data on this Excel sheet. This is data from my masterclass, Chris Njoko Excel Masterclass. So I decided to obtain details of those in the class, their age, and also from the data I gathered, I was able to see the frequency of certain age, and also to see the gender of certain age. So this is very, very important in decision making. Now, there are three steps to EDA. The first for you is identify missing values. So, two, summarize. You summarize the entire data and then you'll be able to get what we call descriptive statistics of your data. You'll be able to understand your data very well. As I move further, you will get it clearer. So the third is visualize your data. So this is it, you visualize the data. So these are just the three steps of exploratory data analysis, especially for anyone that is a beginner. You just have to understand this. By the time you go deeper, you'll be able to understand different aspects of identifying missing values and then different aspects of summarizing, and then you also get deeper with visualizing the data in different type, in different forms. Now let's go with the very first, which is identifying missing values. If you look at this data very well, you find out that there are blank spaces. Yes, there are blank spaces. Some cells are empty. Now, this data series can be up to 500 or 1000 or 5000. Like you're seeing the rows now. Let's say this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, this is row 4. It can be as long as 500 or 1000 or 2000. So it will be difficult for you to start looking through the data one after the other. And then there is still also a tendency for you to make mistake. You get to a particular row and you think it's another one that you have actually edited. So the best you can do is to use a cell as a tool to identify your blanks and then look at what you will do to it. These data are missing. Probably it could be as a result of where you're getting the data from, or some persons filled their details wrongly, so you cannot use it to actually um, decide if this is what is meant to be there. So you just have to be very careful. In some cases, someone will give you the data and from one person to another, it has gone through different laptops and everything. So somehow an error might have occurred. Someone might have mistakenly deleted data from each of the row or maybe column, as the case may be. So the first thing you do is for you to identify missing values. One of the quickest way for you to identify missing values is to use the sum product. Yes, I'm bringing this in so that if you are very new or you're just finding your feet on Excel, you have to get used to some formulas, probably some functions, and then have it in your diary. When you have some challenges, you just know what to do. So you use the sum product to identify your missing value. So this is how we go about it. So now we want to identify the columns that are empty. So we use the sum product function. So this is how you go. You say equals sum product. So you're telling the cell to gather information about the various column, and the information you're asking for is empty cells. So you use the not function. The not function change false to true or true to false. So you want to use it. It's a logical function where it will look at if the cell is empty, it will just record it now. Logically, because it's empty, it means there's nothing there. It's blank. There's no figure on it. If there is a figure, you just forget about that cell and then you assume that it is not blank. So it's just logical. So you now say is number, because what you're actually looking for is number. You're checking whether there is a value. Check whether the value is a number and it returns true or false. Just to buttress what I previously said. So you click on it, is number. Now, what value, what is the data range? Where do you want to look through and see if there are data or not? This is where you now have to just select the data range. You can just drop your cursor here and then you select the data range of the very first column. Yes, mind you, you have to stop here not to enter the headings, because if you do, it will lead to an error. Then you hit your enter key. Yes, so this is it. You can see the formula here. This is the formula and the formula bar, and this is what it returns for you as output 2. Now let's look at the cells. Let's move and see whether it's actually 2. This is field. This is the first one that is empty. Then this is another empty cell on this column. As you can see, it's only 2 cells that are empty. So these are the blanks. Now, to drag to other columns so that it will replicate and autofill. So this is it. It's showing us that this other column has 4 blank and this has 0 blank. So you already know that there are blanks. Another decision you should take is what should happen to the rows where there are these blanks. In some cases, by the time you go deeper into data analysis, you might just decide to either take away that row or you fill the cell with something. Moving forward, you have been able to identify blanks that on this row there are 2 blanks, on this there are 4. We don't need to count again because we have done that with the first and then we identified them very well. So these are the blanks, and then on this there are no blanks. Now, your decision now should be, what should I do to the blanks? What should I do to the blanks? That decision is always yours to take. You know what you want to do, and then you should also know what is obtainable from it. We are to decide what we are going to fill the blank spaces with. The first thing you should do now is to actually identify those points, those cells. To do that, you highlight the entire data and then Control G to take you to go to. Now it's showing you go to. You click on special. Your interest is blank, so you click on blanks and then you click OK. Now every blank have been identified here. You can see this is it, has been identified. My cursor is here. That is why you're seeing this like this. If not, this is part of the blanks that have been identified. If you now decide on what to add, what to drop on the blanks, what you do is to drop your cursor on the formula bar and type in what you want to probably drop on the blanks. Let's say you have decided that you should drop 0 on it. You just type 0 into the formula bar and then you hold down Control and press Enter. Take note of that. You hold down the Control key and press Enter. Now you can see that every blank has been replaced with 0. You can as well do that with other figure. You can decide to make it 2. Let's say Ctrl Z and then we decide to put 2 on every blank. Ctrl Enter. You can see it will replace it with 2. So Ctrl Z, let's go with the 0 and then Ctrl Enter. So we have decided to replace every blank with 0. So this is just first thing you have done to your data. Mind you, we're still on identifying missing values and then treating it like we call it in data science. You treat the data either by removing the entire row or you fill in the blanks. You can decide to remove a particular row by clicking on it from the edge like this and then you right click and scroll down to delete. That is an option. You can decide to also fill in blanks. So we've hammered on this very well, so we'll move forward. The next thing we are going to look at now is what we call interpolation. There is need for us to learn interpolation. It's also part of exploratory data analysis and it's under identifying missing values. In some cases, you'll find out that the data that are missing are sensitive and so you don't want to just fill it up like that. You want to fill it with an understanding of how the data is. Let me Ctrl Z again so that there will still be blanks. Now I click outside. If you want to interpolate a particular column, you select the entire data set on that column. Mind you, in your interpolation, what you intend to achieve is just to fill up the blanks. Like I said, your column can be very long, up to 500 rows or 5,000 rows. So to interpolate, you highlight the column you'd like to interpolate, and then you click on your home tab. When you click on your home tab, you scroll to your extreme right and click on fill. Your fill is on the editing command in the ribbon. Now, what do you want to fill? You want to fill a series. So you come to series and click on series. Fantastic. Now, the cell is showing you that you want to apply that field to a column, right? And then what is the data type? Your data type could be linear, it could be growth, it could be date, it could be also autofill. What you choose determines what a cell will do to that column. In this case, I decide to choose linear. That is to say, the data series is straight, is progressing linearly. So if I choose linear, a cell is showing me that the step value that will be added is 1. Let me click on OK and see. Now you can see what has happened to the data series. What happened here is that because I chose linear, a cell decided to add 1 as the step. Every blank space, 1 was added to it. And then the previous data was also adjusted in that line, because a cell is trying to tell you that if your data is linear, it means it's progressing 1, 1. That is to say, the difference between this cell and this is 1. The difference between this and this is 1. The difference between this and this is 1. So that is just what interpolation does. Let me Ctrl Z so that you also see what has happened. Now you see, because of what was added here to fill it, the kind of interpolation that was done here, it affected the entire data. So that is for the first pattern of interpolation, which is linear. I also want to show us another pattern of interpolation. I click on home, we go to the fill, and then we click on series. In this case, we want to use growth, not linear. You can see it's also telling us that if you want to use growth, I will also go with 1. In some cases, what happened to this data now is not what will happen. For example, if you are working with climate related data like temperature, so you could see that, let's assume that this is day 1, and then the temperature is 25, day 2 the temperature is 27, day 3 the temperature is 29, then day 4 there is nothing there, and day 5 what you're seeing is 35 or 36. A cell will just look at it and say, okay, from day 1 to day 2 the difference is 3. From day 2 to day 3 the difference is 3, which means this data is progressing with 3 degrees. So that blank space, the difference between the last value and the blank space should be 3. So let's say the last value is 27, a cell will suggest 30 for the next one. So that is just how this whole thing works. So I'm just bringing this in so that we understand it very well. However, maybe subsequently in some of my other more advanced videos, I will be talking about interpolation in Excel so that you understand better. Right now, that is not just where we are planning to stop in this video. So we move out of that. I've taught us about how to identify missing values, how to fill it up. Now we move forward to the next. The next on our mind is summarize your data. Why do you need to summarize your data set? In exploratory data analysis, you summarize your data to have an idea of how your data is. This data set before us, every column is important. But however, what brought about this whole thing is we're trying to look at the ages of people that enrolled for the masterclass. And then from the ages, we now look at the frequency, how many of them age 20 enrolled. Then from there, we now move forward to say, okay, if just one person is 20 years that enrolled, is the person male or female? So that is how this data progress from one column to the other to the very last. Now, in order for you to explore your data in details, especially the age, you want to see the distribution of the age. You can say from age 20 to 30, how many persons? From 30 to 40, how many persons? From 40 to 50, how many persons? That is how you can explore your data. You do this summary to have a feel of it. What the summary will give to you are details of the data. It could give you the lowest, it could give you the highest age, it could give you the mean age, like the median age. And then you will now get quartiles, what we call quartiles in statistics. You will understand that better if you are a statistical or inclined person. But if you're not, I'll try to see how I'm going to explain it so that you get the details. So we're still on summarizing. Now let's look at how to summarize the age here. So first thing we will probably want to get from the summary could be the mean. The mean. So what is mean? Mean is talking about the average of the age. So what do we use to get average? Is the average function. Then hit the enter key. Now it's telling us that the average age of this whole person is 32.5. Which other details can we get, which is part of the summary? We can get the median age. Median age. Get the median. So say equals median. Then we select the age, hit the enter key. Now it's telling us that the median age is 31.5. Understand what median means. If the age is from 0 to 50, the median age is 25, which is the middle of it. Is different from average. So I hope you understand that. The average means you add up all the age and then divide it by the number of times the age occur. So that's the difference between mean and median. So hope we understand that better. Now we'll move to what I mentioned earlier, which is the quartiles. Let me try to use an explanation for quartile that I hope everyone watching this video will understand. Quartiles means that you want to look at the entire data, and in looking at it, you try to understand the certain percentage of the data where it will fall to. Now, before I go into quartiles, let me start with this first. Let me get the mean, which is the minimum. Say equals mean. I want to go through this way so that the explanation will be clearer. So now we have 20 as the minimum age, the least age. Then we talk about the max age, so equals max. I do hope that as you are watching this video, you'll be seeing functions and how to use them and the reason you are using them. So now we've been able to get the minimum age is 20, the maximum age is 46. Now, we have gotten the minimum age, we have gotten the maximum age. Now we'll talk about quartiles. Quartiles means that if we divide this data, the age, into certain percentage, where will 25% of it fall into? Where will 50% of it fall into? Where will the 75% and the 100% of it fall into? Now, our minimum, which is 20, is more like our 0% of age, like, or let's say 1%. The least age, let's say this is a ladder, the bottom age is 20 as mean. The topmost age, which is the maximum here, is 46. We also got our median age, which is like 50%, as 31.5. Now we want to look at first quartile, which is like 25% of it. And then probably look at third quartile, which is like 75%. Let me type first and then also try to explain again. Let's say first quartile, which is like the 25% on the ladder, equals quartile. What is the array of the data? Select the data. This is the data. You can continue your typing from here, comma. We're looking at first quartile. So look at it. It's a first quartile, which is the 25th percentile of the data. That is what I was just trying to explain. The 25th percent of the data. This is it. Now look at this. Median is the 50th percentile, which I explained to us that the middle of the data. We already have the median, so we're not going to look at the second quartile. And then you now see the third quartile, which is like the 75th percent of it. So now we'll click on the first quartile. And then we'll close the bracket, we'll hit enter. Now this is the 25th percentile of the data, which is the first quartile. Now we look at the third quartile. Equals quartile. Select the data range. Comma. We're looking at third quartile. So this is it. Third quartile. We'll click on this so that third will come in. So the explanation is still the same. The median is the 50th percentile, which we can call second quartile. Then the third quartile is more like the 75th percentile, and then the maximum value, which we also already have. So we have used other formulas to get our maximum, minimum value, and our maximum value. We have also gotten our median. So these are the two other quartile we're looking at. This first quartile, which is the 25th percentile, and then the third quartile, which is the 75th percentile. So now we have done for first quartile, we're on the third quartile. So click on this, comes in, and then you hit your enter key. Now you see this is like the third quartile. Now let me explain this for the very last time. So we're hoping that someone will grab it, or maybe subsequently you can get materials on quartiles, and then you have the understanding. What this 25th percentile means, which is the first quartile, is that if we try to look at the first 25% of the ages where they fall into, and averagely now you're being told that if you're looking at the first 25 percentile of the ages, like you're climbing the ladder from 0 or 1 to 3, you're moving up, the first 25% of the data falls at age 25.7. The third quartile here is talking about if you are climbing the ladder, you are now at the 75th percentile of the ladder. Where will that 75th percentile fall on averagely in terms of age? You are being told that if you're climbing from the data we have from age 20, we are moving up in terms of percentage. If we get to the 75th percentile in terms of seniority, the age we are going to see on that level is 40.25 as the age. So this is just how it means. The 100th percentile or the fourth quartile of this data is the maximum value of the age, which we have here as 46. So I think this should be clear enough for us. So we have been able to summarize data. This is the summary of every data on this age column. You can do the same thing for any other column here. You can do the same for any other column. So we'll just use this for us to have a good understanding. When you go into data science, like maybe you're using Python or anything in Python, when we want to have summary, we just type summarize, and then we name the data that we want to summarize. Already we have called it up into the Jupyter notebook. It will quickly just give us, it will not take this whole process. That's the difference between Python and Excel. Excel, you have to move through one stage to another, but if it's Python I'm using now, just one line of code in 1 minute, maximum 60 seconds, I will have all of these values before me as outputs. So I do hope that anyone watching this video will either follow me on YouTube or any other platform before, because I will be making videos on how to summarize using Python. Now, we move forward. We have been able to summarize to have a clear picture of the data. We now know the mean of the data, which is like the average of the ages. We have the median, the middle age, which is 31.5. We now have the minimum, we have the maximum, we have the first quartile, we have the third quartile. Like I will always say, your data series or column can be as long as 5,000. So if you don't do this or learn how to do this, you will have challenge. If you have been told to summarize data and then you don't know how to go about it using this pattern, you cannot find your way around. So having done this, we have been able to obtain the summary of the data. Now, we now look at the last on our list, which is to visualize our data. Fantastic. You visualize to have a better understanding of the distribution of the data. I've summarized it to know how everything is. But you have to visualize it for your exploratory to be complete. And you know that the main thing we're dealing on here, the most important data here is the age. The age led to every other thing. If you can do this to age, you can do it to the frequency. You can also do it to the gender. So you visualize your data for you to have a clear understanding to see the distribution of your data. Now, let's use the age as an example. I want to highlight the age. So, for you to visualize it and see the distribution, you highlight as it is. And then you click on Insert. And then you go to your histogram. Your histogram will give you an idea of how your data looks like. And see, I'm on the histogram now. I click on histogram, and then this is what it gives to us. Now, look at this very well. I'm sure, merely looking at this, you should have a good understanding of the data. Now, let me explain. The cell is telling us here that the ages between 20 and 30 are more than the ages between 30, 40 and 40, 50. So let's say we decide to share this data into three different sections, like a cell here now is telling you, okay, fine, looking at your data, the ages between 20 and 30 enrolled more for your masterclass compared to the age between 30, 40 and the age between 40, 50. So it's more like the younger they are, the more they are in the class. That is just the insight you have gotten from your data. Another reason you explore your data is for you to take decision. Probably this is the outcome of my exploratory. I've seen that ages between 40 and 50 don't really enroll more in my class, much in my class. So what will I do? I will take a decision to probably tweak my advert and then add some incentives that will bring in age 40 to 50 more. Same thing is applicable to age 30 to 40. If after the next masterclass, this age distribution changes, like maybe this is now the highest, and then this is the second on the series, and then this is the lowest, I will also have to find a way to balance it in such a way that this age will see more reasons to join my class. This is just what exploratory data analysis is all about in a nutshell. Thank you very much for making our time to see this video. I encourage you once more to search for me on YouTube. Simplifier is the YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. There are several videos that will be coming your way. Simplified videos like this. This is my contact information in case you need mentorship. Chris Njoko is my name. This is my WhatsApp. number. Thank you.